There's deep frustration in Washington over the lack of progress in avoiding a government shutdown. The deadline for the deal is midnight tomorrow, and the handful of House Republicans causing this crisis show no signs of backing down. Scott MacFarlane is on Capitol Hill with more. Scott, good morning.
Anne-Marie, good morning to you. The House members were here late into the night last night passing spending bills, but none that would avert a government shutdown. The only way to keep the lights on may be some type of short-term deal as brief as a week. But even that's proving to be a very tough sell. With the government shutdown looming, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is still trying to unite his party behind a bill that will keep things running.
We got to handle this problem, and you've got to handle it in a bipartisan way.
A closure would furlough tens of thousands of federal workers, and it would force as many as 1.3 million members of the military to work without paychecks.
Times are hard as it is, and a paycheck being missed is a big problem. We're normal people who really need paid, and it's not fair.
Alice Silver is the wife of a Coast Guard petty officer and mother of two in Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
We're not going to be able to pay bills that are ready to be paid. Not affording groceries for my kids. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to these children.
Senators have cut a bipartisan deal to keep the doors open for another 45 days.
We need to keep the government running.
But House Republicans argue it costs too much and they won't accept it, saying they'll have their own plan today. What's the source of the frustration?
My frustration is that we're $33 trillion in debt.
Some Republicans in the House also want border security measures added. But if the government shuts down, over 19,000 Border Patrol agents would be among those not paid, drawing this rebuke from the Republican leader in the Senate.
Shutting down the government is a choice, and it's a choice that would make the crisis at our southern border even worse.
Members of Congress would still get paid if the government shuts down, and they're expected to be here through the weekend with this deadline approaching. All that being said, the biggest test might be on House Speaker Kevin McCarthy himself, who could see his speakership challenged as early as this weekend, Anne-Marie.
Oh, there goes the mic or something along those lines. That's good. I hope you can still hear me. That's okay.
I can.
Okay, great. Hey, that's live TV for you. So let us talk about what's happening in the building behind you. All this talk about voting on a stopgap measure, that's all fine and dandy. But, what is the likelihood of that even happening this weekend? If it does happen this weekend, I mean, can they even sort of turn this ship around in time if the House manages to find some agreement? Aren't we basically looking at a shutdown no matter what?
It seems imminent. It seems a certainty at this point because they've gone past the time frames where even a short-term deal can be ironed out, where the House can do its thing, the Senate can do its thing, and then they can merge the two bills together. The time for that was days, if not weeks ago. So they're going to touch this hot stove of a government shutdown before they figure out how to extricate themselves from it. The fundamentals, though, have never changed. There's been so many moves, so many theatrics, but the bottom line has been the same since this whole process began months ago. Democrats in the Senate don't like some of the language in the Republican bills, and the same is true. The House doesn't like what the Senate's doing. There has to be bipartisan compromise to keep the government open or to reopen it. There's no way to get around that. And House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been told he will have his position challenged if he cuts any deal with Democrats. This has been the same dynamic throughout. We're just now up against a deadline, and nothing really fundamentally has changed.
You identified some of the sticking points for some of the more hard right conservatives, immigration, the amount of money the government spends. But another sticking point is aid to Ukraine. If they are willing to shut down the government over the amount of money that is being sent to Ukraine to help in the war, I mean, could any bill pass that includes funding for Ukraine?
Yes, but it has to be that same bipartisan compromise. When they put test votes on the floor over Ukraine funding, a supermajority, an overwhelming number of House members support it. Both parties get behind it. The problem for the future of this funding is a majority of House Republicans don't support it. Enough to hold out and hold up bills. It includes some of those members on your screen, some of the House Freedom Caucus members. And when the margins are so narrow in the House, Anne-Marie, just 4 or 5 votes can stop anything on a party line vote. Everybody has veto power, including the dozens who don't support more federal aid for Ukraine at this moment in time.
So a couple of times you've mentioned Speaker McCarthy and how difficult this challenge is for him. I don't know if you guys are taking bets on the over-under for him maintaining this position because, you know, if he manages to figure this one out, there'll be another challenge and then another and another. I mean, what is the likelihood that he is going to be able to keep this position for the tenure? I know it's sort of a question that you could never answer, but it just occurred to me that the challenges are not going to stop for him.
There were 3 challenges we knew were going to be pivotal for Speaker McCarthy when this session began. The Speaker vote itself, and that was a lot of drama, 15 rounds before he finally won. The debt ceiling crisis, in which he cut a deal with the president and took some heat for it. Here's the third of 3, what to do about keeping the government open. Nobody knows how this plays out. We do know a couple things. He has a news conference scheduled for mid-morning today here in Washington, and he's going to try to put a short-term deal on the floor to keep the lights on, and nobody knows if that thing passes. We'll learn a lot after those 2 moments. What does he say today? What happens with his bill?
Should be really interesting. Scott, thank you very much. Hopefully they can figure it out, but thank you very much.
That's right. Thank you.